already, you know, it's just a nicer looking product. Look at that. Folks, we are back. And somehow, some way, we are still talking about this. Lord, deliver us from Dubai chocolate. Jokes that really aren't jokes aside, folks. Welcome to Fabric Baking. Welcome to another chocolate review. Do feel free to stick around and tap that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And let's get into, not the meat and potatoes, but the chocolate and pistachio of what we're talking about today. We're still, months later, talking about Dubai chocolate. I feel like it's been almost a year. I'll clarify, but I feel like it's been almost a year since we reviewed the Lindt milk chocolate Dubai style. And here we are with 3 more Dubai style chocolate products from Lindt. Still heinously overpriced, but today we're going to check whether it's worth your money or not. So while we have already reviewed the Lindt milk chocolate Dubai style, today we have the same, but with dark chocolate and in white chocolate. Who'da thunk it? And we also have the Lindt Dubai style chocolate, these bonbon type things. We're going to be starting with the dark and getting into the kind of milk chocolate bonbons and then into the white. Let's see how it goes. From this dark bar, we can expect dark chocolate with pistachio and kataifi pastry filling. Opening up, we have the same kind of design as there was on the other bar, with the kind of Lindt print on there. Better snap than I expected, I must say. The chocolate kind of completely encases the filling, which was kind of one of my criticisms with the other bar, in that the chocolate was very much present, but the filling was a little bit scanty. Let's see if that is also the case with the dark version. So in calling this extra dark chocolate, as it's written at least in the kind of Italian description, that usually means that not only does it contain kind of the cocoa mass and the cocoa butter, but it also contains cocoa powder in there to add even extra kind of darkness to it. And you can tell filling is only 26% of the bar. You can tell straight out of the gate, it's not unpleasant. It tastes like dark chocolate. It's definitely a sweet dark chocolate, even if there is that touch of bitterness because it is 70%. Pistachio flavor is almost completely absent. You have a kind of sweet, nutty taste from the cream, and you have the kind of crunchiness from the pastry. That's about it. It's not really giving pistachio. Though that said, overall, it's a bit better balanced than the kind of classic milk chocolate one was that we tried from Lindt, just because you have the contrast of the dark chocolate and the pistachio. For that, I say, certainly not unpleasant. It tastes like a nutty, very sweet dark chocolate bar. Sweet enough that genuinely one of these, and I'd be good. It doesn't taste bad, but we're talking 10 euros for this bar. You know, that's dinner. And while you could argue that because it is sweet, because it is rich, those 10 euros will stretch, okay, it's still a supermarket quality chocolate bar. That's the only thing I struggle to get over. Would I recommend it? No, probably not. Would I buy it again? No, definitely not at that price. At half of that price, I would consider it. In terms of what it's trying to be, the pistachio is lacking a bit. The filling is fairly scant. So I would shoot this at a 3 out of 5, in the sense that nothing particularly offensive in the product itself, but I'm certainly not rushing back. Let's move on instead to the little kind of milk chocolate bonbons that we have here. These admittedly give me slightly more hope in the sense that the filling, you know, by force has to be kind of more present than it is in these bars. At least the price with these, for example, I can understand slightly more. You're talking about more packaging, you're talking about something that is clearly more designed to be gifted. You're talking about individual chocolates, which already kind of adds to the whole luxury feel of the whole thing. And there are 9 of them in here, but already, you know, it's just a nicer looking product. Look at that. Look at what was in there. However, all of that said, while you were paying for better packaging, better looking product, this is only 90 grams of product, unlike the others, which are 150 grams. It feels like it's going to have a fairly thick milk chocolate shell, but already the smell is that kind of much more enticing, super milky Lindt chocolate. And I feel like you can get a bit of pistachio in there, but let's see if it's worth it. Aggressively sweet. The milk chocolate tastes more of milk than of chocolate. Then I think that's fairly normal for the Lindt milk chocolate products. The filling, however, does pull more attention here. It's far more present, and really that kind of cloying, almost sickly sweetness, I think, is part of the appeal of Dubai chocolate in the end. Certainly not unpleasant. You feel like you can taste a bit more of the pistachio cream in there. There was a touch of salt in the second bite that I took there. The texture of the chocolate is almost non-existent. It's not particularly warm at all here at the moment. It's like 14 degrees, so that chocolate shell could have more of a snap, especially when presented like this. That's something that the dark chocolate did definitely have, and it just makes the whole thing a bit less kind of stodgy and sticky. That said, I don't hate it, I don't love it, because we're still talking about only 90 grams of product, though better presented. It feels more luxurious for what you're paying. It feels more like a novelty. It feels like more thought has gone into it. It's something you're probably going to enjoy more. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. So compared to the last one, which is a firm this one, I'll give a 4 out of 5. All things included. This feels like something that could definitely be good for gifting, especially this time of year, though certainly not the cheapest of gifts. We then move on to what will potentially be the most aggressively sweet of them all, which is the white Dubai style chocolate. Thinking about it, I don't actually know how many examples of Lindt white chocolate I've had in my life, to be honest. The smell is immediately way more pistachio-y, and it'll be interesting to see how that filling kind of holds up against a chocolate that is basically non-existent in flavour, other than just milk and a bit of vanilla. Again, no real snap to speak of, much like the kind of truffles. But like the dark chocolate bar, you can see that the filling is completely encased inside. It doesn't kind of spread between the chunks themselves. Let's see how it is. I'm not kidding when I say the white chocolate here is merely a concept. It's an idea. That kind of milky vanilla flavor that you normally get from white chocolate is completely absent. And basically the only thing you taste is that pistachio filling with a bit more kind of savouriness to it, solely for the fact that it's in contrast to something so sweet and flavourless on the outside. Definitely puts the filling to the forefront a bit more. Even though it's exactly the same quantity, it's not having to battle with dark chocolate, it's not having to battle with anything else, it's not having to battle with anything except sugar, because that's all it tastes like on the outside. You get a bit more of the balance of flavour there. You feel the crunchiness more, you taste the pistachio more, the balance of salt is needed, even more would be appreciated, to be honest. This one is definitely something I could eat and would eat. Would I buy it again for that price? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The dark chocolate I could justify a bit more because you already have much more of a cocoa content in there and it would last longer. This is the kind of thing you hoover up in one sitting, despite the nausea, and white chocolate should never really be at that price from a kind of mass market brand like this. All in all, much like the first bar, just in the fact that the price sets it back so much straight out of the gate, and the fact it's not bad, but it's not fantastic, it's a 3 out of 5. I really do hate to focus as much on the price as I am. Normally it's not the first thing I like to focus on when talking about chocolate products because, you know, well-made chocolate shouldn't be cheap. It should be expensive. It's made using expensive, difficult to make ingredients, and it's a labour of love, of course. But here we're not talking about a craft chocolate maker who's doing everything bean to bar. Here we're talking about an enormous international company that's making bank on a trend, and €10 is way too much. It's way too much. I've seen it cost even more in the US apparently. In the UK it's not any cheaper. It's just too much money for the product you're getting at the end of the day. With this, I can see the justification. It's a gift, it's a wee thing. You'd happily spend maybe €10 on something as a thank you or a present for someone else. This instead, as something for yourself, £10, €10, $10 could be spent so much better on something so much more worth it. That's where my main issue with this product lies. It doesn't taste bad. It doesn't deliver everything it maybe should, especially considering that the whole idea of the Dubai chocolate was that it's overfilled, that it's luxurious. This is hitting the kind of heavy, sickly sweetness that I think the trend offers, and this perhaps a bit more of the quantity, the ratio. This instead is just something in there for the dark chocolate fans, but at the same time it contains milk, so I don't entirely know who the target market of this one is. However, that said, aside from this one, which I can see is justified, price is way too high, product could be better, but it's also certainly not the worst thing I've ever tried. If you guys have tried these, do let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm very, very interested to see what you think. I'm trying not to just be a hater, truly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, folks, whether you've tried them or not. Do let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like me to review in the kind of upcoming months, now that we are back into cold chocolate and room temperature weather, finally. I have a couple of craft chocolate reviews coming up, which I'm excited to do. But until then, that is all I have time for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for the next one.